When the rain is blowing in your face is how it should go. And the whole world is on your case. I will offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love.
Oh,
it's beautiful.
It's so good. It's one of those songs that you can't believe wasn't already written when they wrote.
I know. Right? I know. It's 90s. And you think, when I heard it was a Bob Dylan song, I thought, all right, it's got to be something he did in the 60s or 70s because it's good. Yeah. So it seems like would have been from that time. But he fucking wrote a banger in the 90s.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
On one recording, he sings, "When the rain is blowing in your face."
There you go.
And so he fixes it. But I don't know if that recording is from before. But on the studio version, he sings, "When the rain is blowing in your face." Now, you know, the Billy Joel version was released before Bob Dylan's version. So the first the world heard the song was Billy Joel's version. And Billy Joel used a pedal. So let me see if I can do what he did. He did something like this. When the rain is blowing in your face.
That's not.
And the whole world is on your case.
Why would you do that?
I would offer you a warm embrace. So it pays off eventually. I mean, my guitar's out of tune, but it's... And I feel like he was trying to fix Bob Dylan's mistake.
I think you're right.
But it's a mistake.
Let's listen to the way it should be. So this is probably when the world is lost to when the old is circle to go. I wasn't on the center seat though. Make you feel my love. So let's talk about one thing real quick.
The 5 of 5, yeah, beautiful.
Make you feel my love. That's not wrong. So we should talk about why that's not wrong to sing one on that. So the 5 of 5 is fine, but then when you get to the 5 chord, for some reason that works.
Well, first of all, I'm not convinced that they don't actually play a sus chord there. To make you feel my love, which would fix it, right?
Okay. All right, you're right.
But even if they don't, there's the excuse of it being just an anticipated note. To make you feel my love.
Yeah, I bet you it's a sus chord. Okay, good. So we.
But this one is a dissonance. When the rain is blowing in your face. It's a dissonance approached by a leap. I mean, it's just inexcusably bad.
Yeah. So let's do it the way that it is, and let's emphasize it.
Yeah, you go for it. You sing. I want to hear you. I want to see how wrong it sounds.
You give me.
When the wind is blowing in your face.
Oh gosh. When the wind is blowing in your face.
Wait, just make it a first inversion major chord, not dominant 7.
No 7.
No 7. Yeah.
When the wind is blowing in your face. Doesn't sound good.
No.
It sounds bad, in fact.
And here's the thing: the main point that I want to make is that Adele fixes it sometimes. Like the second verse, it comes to, When the evening shadows and the stars appear.
Does she really?
She fixes it. Yeah. So sometimes she fixes it. And I bet if you looked at maybe, I think she just maybe has that first line stuck in her head that way with the original mistake.
Oh,
but
wow.
She fixes it. Yeah. She sings, I'd be hungry, I'd go black and blue. I'd go crawling down the avenue. And without the mistake, it's like it's a great song. And with the mistake, it's like a clarinet squeak or something. It's just a mistake. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the drummer knocks over the snare drum and it plays out of time. It's a mistake of that order.
It really is. All right, let's listen to it again. When the wind is blowing in your face, when the wind is blowing in your face. So yeah.
So let's steelman Bob Dylan's argument here. What is a Bob Dylan supporter going to say here? You know what they're going to say.
Yeah. He is he's a rebel, and and our criticism fits right in there with the people who say, oh, he can't sing, or he doesn't have a nice singing voice or something like that. But I think everyone would say he's punk rock. He was like the original punk, and
right.
Like he doesn't have time for that. You know what I mean?
So did he like that note, the wrongness of it? Because sometimes he looks for wrong notes, right? When he's like, how does it feel? Right? The first time, and I worked this out a while ago, that what happens with him is that he's probably sang it for a while, like, and how does it feel? And he liked that, right? And then he wanted to give it more, like, how does it feel? Do you know what I mean? He likes that because it's like it has the thing of feel, because that's a dissonance right there too, right? A semitone against something in the chord. Right, but he's strumming a tonic chord, and he's saying, how does it, because the line is just feel is kind of what's suggested, right? So he's like, how does it feel? And then he just kind of like glisses off of it.
Right.
But then because he likes the way the feel, that dissonant sounds, then he just goes sharper with it. How does it feel? How does it feel? And he goes higher and higher. And so what I'm saying is, maybe he liked that here, right? I'd go crazy, I'd go black and blue. Maybe it's part of that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is something that I always hated about Bob Dylan, the kind of anti-musical thing.
Right. He does have the capacity for writing nice melodies over interesting changes, though. He really does.
Yeah. This song is an example of it.
Yeah, and I think what you're talking about is a choice. I think one of the unfortunate things that happens in a lot of contemporary songwriting, though, is it's not choices being made. It's people's perception of how melody and harmony fits together that has gotten lazy. And I think that's in a different category for me. People will play their songs that they've played a million times, and some of the melody notes will be a step off, half step or a whole step off, and there's no perception of it. There's no perception for the artist. There's no perception for the audience. Nobody talks about it. It's just not there, and I think that's more troubling.
I think we need to find some more examples of.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Of songs that do that have these mistakes. Right. Because I can't think of one that's as bad as Adele.
Okay, let's talk about Circles by Post Malone. So let me just get this playing real quick. Okay,
what's the song called?
Circles. Oh, it's just so aggravating. So here it goes. Here's how the song starts. It's just brazen. So it's so you have antecedent, consequent, and the consequent is this ham-fisted, just terrible, terrible, thoughtless consequent. Right, and then he goes on and he sings that, and it's just it's not even.
I almost don't believe you, so I'm just going to listen to it really quickly. Hold on. That can't be true. Is it right at the beginning of the song?
Yeah,
there's a night. Oh my God.
Right?
Oh my God.
It's unbelievable. It's hard to believe.
Jesus. That's so funny. And it's so funny because it's like he's tried to use the minor four chord. He probably thought he was pretty clever using the minor four chord, right?
I know. He's like, oh man, for this one, let's do something Beatlesy or whatever. You know, he'd probably just listen to it In My Life, you know?
Right.
And that it's so striking, it's so pungent because right, what we get right away is the earworm, right? It's the hook that has really no substance, but it's really memorable. Da 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 da. Right? That's that da 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 da. Oh oh. There's that thing which has existed for far too many years, right? Ba, ba, da, da. So we get that, and then, you know, true to form, do they alter it at all? No, because it's the hook. The hook has to be the same, has to be reiterated. So it just it shows you.
And actually, it would have been fine if the first time it was boo ba ba da, and the second time it was ba boo ba da. You know, it might not have worked. They might have needed to try for another 5 minutes.
So, yeah. Anyway, but
okay, I've got an example of one where I think there's a wrong note, actually a few wrong notes, and it's okay, and it's sort of there's maybe an excuse for it, or it sort of works.
Oh, do you know what? Check this out. We haven't been public.
Oh shit.
It's only us. So I'm going to select the audience now, and I'm going to say, friends. Should I do public, anyone, or should I do friends? I'll just do public. Let's see what happens. Okay, so we might have to do all of that again, which is good because I think we know what we want to do now.
Mm-hmm. Do you know the song "She Keeps on Passing Me by" the Far Side?
Yes.
It's got a kind of chord progression, like, I don't know if this is exactly that. Right? When I was at school, I went to the bag, and when I went to lunch, I carried lunch in a bag. I went to winter. I went to Cindy Big. Right? It's a good song. It's a great song. And the chorus is, she keeps on passing me by. But it's got a bass. It's got a bass line that's something like that. But then it's got another bass line that goes, do 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 do. Right, it's in a different key. It's in the wrong key.
Mhm.
But because it's hip hop, because it's sampled, and because it works, and it is wrong notes. It's wrong notes that work. So I'm not saying that wrong notes can never not work. Can never work.
Yes. Wrong notes can be great. Non-chord tones, right? I mean,
yeah.
Amazing.
But I mean, that's an example of like not just non-chord tones, but it's the notes are just from another scale, from another key.
Right.
But they just kind of like become a texture.
Right.
And you're right. But yeah, non-chord tones can be great. They can definitely be right notes. And so we just have to be clear that note that Adele sings is a wrong note.
Yes.
It is a non-chord tone. You should listen to the Billy Joel version because, like I said, he tries to make it work.
Okay. Yeah. What will you describe each chord? Will you give each chord a name while you go through that?
So right, Billy Joel is playing. He plays it in B flat. I'm in G right now, but he just keeps like his right hand playing a tonic triad, and then the bass line is going down. I'd go crazy, I'd go black and blue. So when he's singing that note, ooh, my guitar's out of tune, but because the strings are 75 years old. But he's playing the note still in his right hand, even though his left hand is playing that. So he's already got that dissonance in the instrument. So he's trying to fix Bob Dylan's mistake, right? Because Bob Dylan was just like, I'd go, what are the first words? When the evening and the stars appear. He just sings that appear. It's wrong. And so Billy Joel is like, how
does he fix it?
Billy Joel says, well, let's come up with a reason that we could still have the tonic note in there. Let's leave it in the right hand, but have the left hand going down. And let's make it a pedal so everything stays the same. So even on this chord, which normally in the song is just a first inversion 4 chord, he's got a first inversion major 7/9 chord because he's hanging onto these pedal notes, right? So he's like, when the evening shadows and the stars appear, what will I want to dry your tears? And then that leads you nicely to this, which normally in the original Dylan version would just be a first inversion minor 4 chord. I could hold you for 1,000,000 years. But in the Billy Joel version is, what is that? It's like a major 7/9 in first inversion, like a minor major 7 chord on the 4, but in first inversion.
Yeah,
there's an augmented chord in it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, actually, in this case, we don't even get the root of the 4 chord. There's an augmented chord in it. And didn't they used to use augmented chords when people were sick in operas?
Oh,
like if anybody got dizzy.
Yeah.
If anybody got dizzy or whatever, they'd use an augmented chord.
Yeah. Cha-cha-cha.
Don't forget the eggs. We might need more pepper and cumin. This veggie's a fractal and it's freaking me out. Can't use the sea salt, it's all about kosher, 'cause you get the right amount with
your fingers. Yeah, if you look real close, it's a flake, not a cube.